Verner Elementary School. This is on the city's northwest side. I grew up right in the city of Detroit, and this was my elementary school as a kid. I'm from a big family, if you know me. Many of my brothers and sisters went to DPS schools. I have nieces and nephews who attend DPS schools right this minute. I had a sister who taught in the DPS school district. So this story is really personal for me. But everyone takes ownership in this story. I mean, this is our city. These are our kids. And nothing that happens in the city of Detroit won't go by without affecting really all of Southeast Michigan. So this crisis belongs to all of us and cannot continue. We've got to figure out a way to fix our schools, especially what's happening at an elementary and middle school like Spain Elementary and Middle School. I was watching CNN before I came into work today, and again, those deplorable conditions were in the national spotlight. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell, she's been following the situation at Spain and many of our schools in the city of Detroit, and she has the results of a shocking inspection report that was released today. She joins us live right now, right outside Spain. Kim?
Yes, Carolyn, those teachers a couple weeks ago exposed these conditions to me, and what we saw, steam coming out of the asphalt in the parking lot of Spain Elementary School, plus coming out of the playground soil where children used to play. When I went in the school with the teachers' help, I could smell the mold. I knew it wasn't safe. Now, inspection reports are being released that confirm when the district told me point blank there is no mold in that building. It lied. I sat down with emergency manager Darnell Early to talk to him about how this could happen. The city inspection report is damning and confirms everything we first reported on Action News. Remember that water-damaged gym floor? The report says there's mold growing under the wood flooring, and even worse, possible diffusion of mold spores throughout the building. There's evidence of vermin infestation, including fecal matter and animal carcasses in various rooms. There are also broken doors, water leaks, missing tiles, broken glass, more mold and mildew, and heat exhaust spewing onto the playground. It's a shocking report by any measure, except apparently to emergency manager Darnell Early.
And people have known about the condition of Spain.
In an interview last week, he said the district was handling it.
We're being responsive when we have issues such as Spain. Although it just came to light publicly, this has been an issue that has been addressed through a plan for a long time. This didn't just happen overnight.
Exactly. The district sealed off the gym after my report on the mold, but did nothing about the leaking roof.
It seems like by neglecting one issue, you get more issues and more issues. For example, you neglect the roof, and then you get the mold throughout the building.
Well, let me just stop you right there. We're not neglecting anything. What we're doing is we're trying to spread the resources that we have to address everything.
But don't you have to prioritize building safety?
If there are any issues that have been brought to our attention that suggest that any of the students or any of the employees or any of the general public are at jeopardy for being in unsafe conditions, we've addressed those.
But that's not true. Teachers and the principal at Spain notified the district last year about mold and health concerns. They even filed complaints with the state.
A lot of my staff members, they are sick because of it.
And you've told them this?
And we've told them that.
The district told the state the same thing it told me when I did the story. There was no proof of mold. What it left out was that there was no proof because it didn't test for mold.
Months ago, teachers filed complaints with the state, and the state notified the district saying it's unsafe, there's mold, we're having breathing problems, and it wasn't addressed.
Well, to the extent that those notifications have gone forward, my information suggests that we've done what we can to be in compliance with those codes.
When city inspectors investigated conditions in Spain Elementary Middle School the day after 7 Action News exposed conditions, the school was far from in compliance.
You said you addressed these concerns to meet code, but my understanding is there were more than a dozen code violations found.
Code violations are not new to the Detroit Public Schools.
Teachers tell me they have been warned, do not let the media in the building again. I got to tell you, we are committed to exposing problems that are dangerous to kids. And I hope teachers trust me if they see problems that they want addressed that are being ignored. Now, this is not the only thing we talked to emergency manager Darnell Early about. We also reviewed numerous employee contracts for his top officials, and the incomes, the benefits they're getting are shocking.
When you look at the size of the district, it's got almost 46,000 students. It's right around 90th in the nation. But when you look at the pay of your administration and your top officials, they're some of the highest in the country. How do you justify that?
Well, I haven't seen that, first of all, so, you know, if you say that, and I haven't seen your research, so I'm not trying to justify or not justify anything.
And this is some of it. I can let you review it.
Do the priorities need to be readjusted in the Detroit Public School District? We talked to the emergency manager about it. The full story tonight at 11. Carolyn?
All right, Kim, we certainly look forward to your report coming up tonight on Action News at 11. You've been doing a great job, and some of those reports have really just been mind-boggling to watch right here on Channel 7. Spain Elementary and Middle School was really just one of 11 city reports on health conditions within the schools that were released.
Teachers say the state did not do enough until we got involved. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell live at Spain Elementary Middle School. And Kim, you are getting results.
Yes, we are. This is why we do what we do. I reached out to the state, the Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration on Monday, and let them know about this. Steam coming out of the parking lot and the playground of a school, and conditions inside the building that are even worse. The roof is leaking, and teachers believe they are getting sick from mold. Teachers showed me documents that they had contacted the state numerous times, and they couldn't get any action until they called on 7 Action News for help fixing their school. At Spain Elementary Middle School in Detroit, there was a music teacher who spoke out when she saw kids in danger.
I can't tell you how wonderful it is to have someone to look out for us.
She filed a complaint with the Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration months ago. It sent notice to the district. The district responded, saying everything was fine. And MIOSHA said, okay. Then Monday, 7 Action News showed things were not fine. Teachers hear cinder blocks fall inside the walls. And for 3 years, this roof over the gym has leaked, destroying the floor. It is still leaking, smells disgusting, and teachers say it's making them sick.
And I'm scared to go to my doctor because she's going to be so angry with me.
Hall's doctor told her to quit, fearing she is working in a building filled with dangerous mold. But she refused to leave her kids.
My children complain of sore throats, headaches, all the time.
The Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration saw my story. Today, it called and apologized. It says a new investigation is open. The city also responding to our report. Mayor Mike Duggan says health inspectors will be checking out schools.
We just can't act as if this is an acceptable way for children to learn.
Teachers are being heard, and we're all fighting for children.
I would like to thank you so much because I've been teaching for over 18 years, and a lot of times I feel as if my children are forgotten.
I'm glad that you are shining a spotlight on it because I think people of good conscience will respond when they know.
I also reached out to the district today to see if there's any new information, anything new they are doing to take care of this. And I'm told that they are working with contractors to get the part of the building that teachers believe is filled with mold encapsulated and cut off from the rest of the building so that that dangerous air, potentially dangerous air, doesn't reach teachers and students. We're going to continue to follow this. Reporting live in Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Well, this morning, Detroit public school teachers called in sick, forcing the closure of 64 schools.
Yeah, some say they didn't just call in sick to protest conditions in the district. They are literally sick due to conditions in the schools.
7 Action News reporter Kim Russell live at Spain Elementary Middle School looking into these very disturbing conditions. Kim, what have you found?
Well, if you drive by Spain Elementary Middle School, you might see outside something that looks a little bit strange. I'm standing in the parking lot, and if you take a look, you can see there is literally steam coming out of the parking lot asphalt. There's definitely a problem underneath the ground here. The district says it's aware of it. Teachers say, you know what, you're aware of it, but it isn't being fixed. But I got to tell you, if you go inside this school, they are the worst conditions I've seen yet. At Spain Elementary and Middle School, the pool has been shut down for 5 years. These pieces of concrete fell off a wall of a vent as a teacher taught. Ceiling tiles have crashed down in the middle of classrooms. But all of that is relatively no big deal.
The ceilings are falling down. We sweep up, we move the dust around, and we go back business as usual.
Ellen Morgan is a second grade teacher. She says she accepted the district didn't have much money and dealt with problems. But then things got worse and worse. Now there is a new problem she says is being ignored that is health-threatening, if not life-threatening.
The ceiling like a cheese grater, it rains from every water coming in all over the place.
Andre Harlan is the phys ed and health teacher. He says things got bad when the roof started to fail. Now this sign hangs outside the gym. The reason? See for yourself. You can see the floor buckling, and you can see why this problem is here. You can see the beams are rusty, where the roof has been leaking. But what you can't see is the smell. Teachers say they believe this floor is covered with black mold. It's nasty. It smells.
All that, and like I said, it's hazardous to our health.
I have developed allergies.
You can feel it instantly when you breathe in.
It makes you nauseated. We're literally sick.
Teachers tell me it has been like this for a year. They have contacted the district, even wrote letters to the Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration more than 6 months ago. The state tells me it has contacted the district about the problem, but no state inspector has been sent out. Clearly, the problem is not being addressed.
We're like, okay, we have to stand up and do something, or else, you know, everything's just going to continue to get worse.
Because we want help for the children.
Now, I just heard back from the district a short time ago, and they're telling me, you know what, that black stuff on the floor, they say it's not mold, it's adhesive. And I believe that there is adhesive on that floor, but the fact of the matter is, it is clear that water hit that floor, warped it, and it stinks. It is hard to breathe next to that floor. I would not be surprised if there is mold underneath that floor, even in areas that we can't see. What I'm wanting to know is whether or not anyone has tested it. The district hasn't been able to answer that at this time. I contacted the city, and I am told that tomorrow health inspectors will be here. They will be looking into it. The mayor even expected to tour the school. He wants to see what I told them about for himself. We will stay on top of this and continue to follow. Reporting live in Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Sometimes you got to wonder why I took a phone call from us.
Racing towards disaster. The district is more than $500 million in debt and set to run out of money in just over 2 months.
But a special Fix My Schools investigation found that doesn't mean tight times for top officials. So tonight, we are holding the man in charge accountable.
7 Action News reporter Kim Russell joins us live from the newsroom. Kim, what'd you find out?
We found that top officials in Detroit Public Schools are some of the best paid in the country. While the district says it doesn't have enough money to provide supplies, basic building maintenance, or put teachers in every classroom, it finds cash for executives. And tonight, we have Emergency Manager Darnell Early facing the facts. Last year, in his first budget address as emergency manager for Detroit Public Schools, Darnell Early hit a familiar note.
Our employees have indeed been partners and have made those sacrifices.
For 5 years now, there's been a 10% wage cut for every employee, like this teacher, who asked to be anonymous to avoid retaliation for speaking out.
I cry when I get my paycheck.
This teacher brings home about $400 a week to support a family of 4. Can you provide for your kids making the money you make?
No, I can't.
But while teachers and other employees have sacrificed and many can barely pay their bills, we found top executives are still getting a very sweet deal. We obtained contracts for execs and reviewed salaries at districts across the United States and found the big shots at DPS are among the best paid in the entire country. Take, for example, the executive director of communications, Michelle Zadrowski. On the same day Early delivered his grim budget speech, she inked a 1-year contract for more than $160,000. Incredibly, that's more than Los Angeles and Chicago, the second and third largest districts in the United States, pay their PR bosses. Even with the 10% pay cut, she earns more than her counterparts at many districts much larger.
Without those sacrifices, our situation would be unmanageable.
Detroit has also gone Hollywood when it comes to its chief procurement officer. The purchasing boss in LA makes about $157,000 per year, the same rate DPS signed Medina Noor. And even with the 10% cut, she's better paid than the bosses in Dallas and Philly, districts more than 3 times the size of Detroit. It's a similar story with Steve Wasco, executive director for enrollment. He makes more than the enrollment boss in Chicago, which has 400,000 students. It's a pattern that repeats itself with executives who oversee food, special education, risk management, and charter schools. All rank at or near the top in pay.
Our employees have been very understanding and recognizing where we are.
But it turns out Darnell Early doesn't want to recognize this.
When you look at the size of the district, it's got almost 46,000 students. It's right around 90th in the nation. But when you look at the pay of your administration and your top officials, they're some of the highest in the country. How do you justify that?
Well, I haven't seen that, first of all, so, you know, if you say that, I haven't seen your research, so I'm not trying to justify or not justify anything.
This is some of it. I can let you review it.
No joke, Early wouldn't look at our findings, but it's no laughing matter that high salaries are piling up. Lamont Satchel is the Chief Innovation Officer. He also signed for more than $160,000, which is more than they pay in Boston. Even with the 10% cut, he still rakes in more than the top innovation officer in America's 5th largest district, Clark County, Nevada. It covers Las Vegas and has 300,000 students. For the record, I did try my question another way.
How do you justify having people at the top that are so highly paid when the teachers are some of the lowest paid in the country?
There have been a number of concessions given not only by the teachers but also by the administrators. So, I can't speak to why things were as I found them.
Two things here don't hold up. First, while Early wants to shift blame to other emergency managers, he signed the high salary contracts. Second, there's also no sacrifice for top execs when it comes to benefits.
When we look at the benefits packages for the top officials in your administration, they're extremely generous. 25 vacation days, 17 sick days, add in holidays, they're getting 50 paid off days. Why are the benefit packages so generous when it is a financially insolvent district?
Well, I don't know that to be the case. Again, you're presenting your research to me and asking me to respond to it. And I'm telling you that where there are areas where we need to adjust, we've been doing that.
But this is not research. These are contracts he signed. They all include another shocking clause. Every executive can have a second job.
Given that they are so generously paid and the district is in such need, should they not be required to just focus on the district?
I'm not going to speak about what's in the contracts of individuals. Those are employment matters, and if you FOIA that, you know what's in it, and you can form your own conclusions about it.
Our conclusion: when it comes to executive pay,
it seems like this district is acting like it's a bigger district than it is financially.
Well, I can't speak to what it's acting like.
But here's what the district is in reality: a district that is running out of cash and needs every penny. A district that is surviving on the backs of teachers like this one who only makes $400 a week. With wages frozen and the future bleak, this teacher stays for one reason.
My children are doing well, and I don't want to stop what I've started.
Mr. Early tells me he also intends to finish what he started, that he has about 6 months left to look these things over. His contract, in case you're wondering, is $225,000 a year. Tomorrow on 7 Action News, we'll continue our coverage. Mr. Early says he made cuts at the top, but do the numbers add up? We'll take a look. Carolyn?
Yeah, you're going to have to take a hard look because it didn't sound like he wanted to answer many questions about the numbers. All right, thank you so much, Kim. You're doing a great job digging, and hopefully we'll get more answers.
Since our story aired last night, I've heard from teachers, parents, and students, plus lawmakers on both sides of the aisle in Lansing. They say money needs to be put into schools, not into the pockets of top executives. It started with a special Fix My School investigation. We looked at the pay of top officials in Detroit Public Schools, a district with about 46,000 students. We found DPS execs make close to or more than execs in districts much larger.
When you look at the size of the district, it's got almost 46,000 students. It's right around 90th in the nation. But when you look at the pay of your administration and your top officials, they're some of the highest in the country. How do you justify that?
Well, I haven't seen that, first of all. So, if you say that, I haven't seen your research, so I'm not trying to justify or not justify anything.
This is some of it. I can let you review it.
While DPS Emergency Manager Darnell Early was not interested in seeing my research, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are.
It's really a slap in the face at democracy and the people of Michigan that was expecting this emergency manager to bring the finances of Detroit Public Schools in alignment. He has done nothing like that.
Detroit Democratic Representative Sherry Gay Dagnogo says it's evidence a forensic audit needs to be done before the state gives DPS money to avoid bankruptcy.
Make sure that the kids are our first priority, and we don't have a lot of time.
And Republican Senator Patrick Kolbeck says while he supports local control whenever possible, there is already talk in Lansing that if lawmakers are going to approve money for Detroit Public Schools to help it avoid bankruptcy, there needs to be oversight. Parents and students in schools that are neglected and falling apart see this top pay given to top officials as evidence district leaders don't share their priorities.
Shocked. Based on the way the schools are looking, shocked.
I also talked to Emergency Manager Darnell Early about his claim that he has cut the size of his administration, but do the numbers add up? We'll take a look at that ahead on 7 Action News at 6. Live in Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.